Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Thursday Night Live. Hi, Cheryl, welcome. The Christmas edition. It's the day after Christmas for a lot of you guys, but for us in Canada and the UK and Australia, it's what we call Boxing Day. That has absolutely nothing to do with the sport of boxing. It's kind of like our Black Friday, where people line up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go get 75-inch televisions for dirt cheap. I know this is to be true because I have actually once stood in line at 2 o'clock in the morning with my wife for a 6 o'clock morning opening to get a big TV. And a friend of mine's girlfriend, we were talking last night. We were at a Christmas party last night, and she's like showing me all the flyers on her phone about, what TVs are on special. I was just mind blowing. It's like every year we seem to go bigger and bigger and bigger. Like when we got our TV, it was like, I think it was 65 inch. No, it was 50 inch TV. And that was huge. Now all of a sudden it's like 8K and 75 inch TVs. It's too much. I don't need a big TV. I really don't. I don't know. That's the popular saying, right? What do you see? Broke people have big TVs. Really rich people have big libraries. So I want to have as many books as I possibly can. Anywho, enough of that. Hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody that celebrated. And all the different celebrations around the world. Hope you guys are having a fantastic time of year. I had a blast. I really did step away from the computer over the past couple of days, focused on family, focused on hanging out, which was nice. I was saying this before I pressed record, that it was actually one of the first times in recent memory that I really did appreciate, the family feeling of Christmas. Not that I didn't in previous years, but this year was really different. I guess it's, I had, my two kids that were, are under 2.5 years old each. And then, I had my wife's family there. And of course my oldest son was there. It was really, really nice. So, anywho, enough of that. Hope you guys had a fantastic year. Now comes 2020, right? New Year's is coming. It's time for us to get fired up. And I thought that this week we do something a little different. We are going to talk, I'm going to talk about kind of, it's a little bit of story time, let's say. We're going to travel back in time to when John kind of got in his head that this entrepreneurial stuff and the entrepreneurial way is kind of something I wanted to do in life. So I'm going to do some story time as well as sharing with you guys some I guess, strategies I used. Hi, Ian. Welcome. Throughout the year, throughout my life, to get me going, towards entrepreneurship. So if you guys would just put your imaginational caps on, okay, your imagination hat, we're going to have some fun today. And can you guys give me 1 second? Because I've got to tell my kid to stop banging on his new toy right outside my door. Please hold. John, we're all going to put our imaginary caps on, and we're going to have some fun. Just give me 1 second. I need to scream at my child. Not really scream, but... Okay, actually, you know what? He's quiet. Anyway, let's go. Okay. So, I'm about, let's say, 9 or 10 years old. Right? So 9 or 10 years old, I've heard of the concept of the lemonade stand. The idea that, I could be a little kid. Now, I didn't know what the word entrepreneur was, but I could be a little kid and stand on a corner, sit on a corner with a little stand and sell lemonade to passersby. I understood the concept, but to me, I was just like, I don't have a passion, right? This is the I guess the nugget here before we even get going. I did not have the passion to sell lemonade. What I was really passionate about back when I was 8 or 9 or 10 years old was the Ninja. Yes, movies back then in the mid 80s were American Ninja 1, 2, or 3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoon was out, not the live action movie, but the cartoon. So I was infatuated with ninjas. So my passion at 8 or 9 or 10 years old was ninjas, but I loved the concept of the lemonade stand. So how, and obviously I look back at it now and it's kind of funny how it all came together, but To me, I was like, I have a passion for this. I love the lemonade stand concept, but I don't really have a passion for selling lemonade. I have a passion for ninjas. How can I turn my passion into a business? Remember, I'm 8 years old. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I do know that I love the idea of turning my passion into profits. Okay, so my mom kind of helps me along here. Back then, 9 or 10 years old, in school, you still did a lot of arts and crafts. It was a big part of your learning back then, but something that we used was popsicle sticks. You guys got to bear with me here, okay? It's story time. We're going to frame this. So, popsicle sticks. We used to build popsicle stick homes and little artwork and whatever, but my mom always made sure that I had arts and crafts kind of around me, right? So, I'd always be drawing and coloring, but she also had glue as well as these popsicle sticks. So, again, you got to remember, I'm 8 years old. I hope you guys see where this is going, but I'll put it together now. So, I see these popsicle sticks, and what is one of the most famous weapons of a ninja? Nunchucks, samurai swords, whatever, but throwing stars. So my mom kind of pushes me to start making throwing stars with the popsicle sticks. And I would do designs where I would make it look like a star, or I would do crazy designs that would be like an octagon or something. It was just, I would design, I probably had about a half dozen different designs of these throwing stars that I put together. I'd the workshop. I'd be in my workshop. I had a little desk set up and I would glue these things together. And I used to go around the neighborhood and sell popsicle stick ninja throwing stars. And depending on the amount of sticks I used, remember, I'm 8 years old. I'm 8 years old. So I have learned pricing at 8 years old because the more popsicle sticks I used, I said that would be a premium. So I sold these things, back, I'm thinking I think I sold the basic ones for 10 cents all the way up to 25 cents, right? Absolutely. See, ninja clubs were cool, Zoltan. So you understand back then, you're around the same age as me. So you get it. You understand the obsession we had as kids for ninjas. So I priced these things around 10 cents to 25 cents, depending on the amount of sticks I used in the design. I had a blast. Now, did I sell many? Yeah, actually, you know what? I didn't sell a ton, but I made a couple bucks. I mean, I remember probably getting like $5 to $10 out of these things. And of course, the kids' parents would always support me and give me 25 cents or 50 cents, as a tip. But I would sell these things, and I had the marketing all down. I wrote on my big billboard, and I put them in. If you guys remember collecting cards, magazines used to go into little plastic wraps, or your collecting cards would go into little plastic sleeves. I used to have a binder, and I would put the different examples. I'm 8 years old, right? Maybe 10, 8 to 10. Exactly when I used to put the different designs of these throwing stars into different sleeves. So I'd walk around with a binder, and I would open the binder, and I would show people the different designs. And what does this have to do with anything, John? It was the birth. It was the birth of the entrepreneurial spirit within me that said that I could take something I love, as crazy as ninjas, and develop a product for it. It wasn't revolutionary. I'm sure people stuck throwing stars together and maybe it looked like a snowflake and they'd say it was a snowflake design. But to me, it was a throwing star. And I branded it as a throwing star. It was the cool thing to have back when you were 8, 9, or 10, was to have a collection of these throwing stars and whip them at each other. Of course, you throw them a couple times and it'd all break apart, but that's beside the point. Maybe I had to work on my craftsmanship a little bit more. But it was a ton of fun, and it made me realize, and this is 8 to 10 years old, that this entrepreneurial thing is something that I really enjoyed. It was something I took a passion of mine and very basic tools and tricks and material, and created a little business off it. What this did was it implanted in me that this is a really good idea, taking a passion and putting it into profits, turning it into profits, excuse me. But then it kind of put me on this path. So fast forward, I'm in high school. And if you guys know me, and I did share this on my personal Facebook wall, a lot of these people that might watch this or the replay have known me since then. And they'll remember what I was like in high school. I was a high school dropout. I did not like school at all. Like, I hated it. It's funny because I spend the bulk of my time teaching people now about affiliate marketing stuff, but I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand sitting in class and listening to something I didn't care about. Lemonade. I didn't care about Lemonade, math, sciences, English. I didn't care about that. To me, it was boring, but there was a couple of classes that really hit me. And remember, I've implanted in my head that 8 to 10 years old, I don't know what the word entrepreneur means, but I understand the concept of turning a passion, exactly what Sean said, finding something you love and building on it. So now there's this course, there's this class, and it comes up in my high school and in the course calendar, and it's called Entrepreneurship. And I read the description, and it talks about building a business for yourself and developing your own strategies and budgeting and all this crazy stuff. And I was just like, yeah. So I'm in high school and I'm surrounded by lemonade stands, but then all of a sudden there's Ninja Stars. There's Ninja Star in the boring, drawn out wah, 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 teacher talk in high school. Lemonade, there's Ninja Stars. And I found the entrepreneur class, the entrepreneurship class, excelled at it, absolutely passionate about it. I remember that the teacher, what was really cool about that course back in the day was that the teacher did such an amazing job of it. What she did was actually bring in real world entrepreneurs into the class to tell us and teach us. And I'm 16, 15, 16 years old, teaching us about building businesses and teaching us about budgeting and teaching us about laws and accounting and stuff that you'd need as an entrepreneur. The math, the sciences, all that stuff was just dribble in my ear like I didn't. But the entrepreneurship class, I was hooked. So I'm a high school dropout. I finally graduated high school. I'm probably 18 years old. I think I took the 7-year program when high school is supposed to take 4. Finally got my diploma. But what I always got was the huge grades in the entrepreneurship class, which I thought was hilarious. And I'm looking back now and it's just like, well, it made sense. I mean, it'd be really hard for me to go to a 9-to-5 now. I don't know how much I can contribute to a company these days because I'm so driven on building my own stuff and building communities and building relationships with people. I guess you could do that in a 9-to-5 too. But the story, what I'm trying to put all in is that I'm not sure, this might be a little controversial. I'm not sure if you choose entrepreneurship or if entrepreneurship chooses you. And this is the difference. When something feels forced and you're sitting there looking at your time, your watch, you're like, oh man, I got to do this. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, it's Monday. Oh, that's you trying to choose something. You're trying to choose the outcome. I'm trying to go to my 9-to-5 so I can get the bills, so I can get the paycheck to pay the bills. I don't want to do this. I'm surrounded by lemonade, but I know I got to do it to pay the bills. That's kind of, you're choosing something. Now, if something chooses you, times doesn't, you could work 8 hours a day. You could work 18 hours a day. To you, it doesn't matter. You found your passion. You found your Ninja Stars. This is a really tough sell for a lot of people. And I think we see this, especially in affiliate marketing, is that people don't want to hear this, right? They want to hear that they can choose this stuff, work a couple of hours a day, make a bunch of money, and presto, they're a success. What's not told is what was taught to me in the entrepreneurship class in high school. Back then, it was real entrepreneurs, real world people, business owners coming in and telling us they work 80 hours a week. Most of the kids, when they hear that, they'd be like, I don't want to work. I want to work the least amount of hours. But the entrepreneurs that would come up and talk to the class would be like, no, you work double what the 9-to-5 person works. But for you, You don't clock that. You don't care about the time because you're so infatuated and passionate about what you're doing. Time doesn't matter. You are so focused on building your business and your dreams and your desire to create something for your own life. And that, to me, is just, you can't trade it for the world. You really can't. It's amazing how it chooses you, and how you're on this path, and you see the stumbling blocks, and you see the walls that are put up in front of you. You see the hurdles, and you see the payment processors that slap you. You know, you see the all the drama these days if you're paying attention to the YouTube stuff going on in crypto world. You see all this stuff that's just hitting you and hammering you, but you still keep going. It's the old saying where I'm paraphrasing here, and I'm probably going to kill this quote, but you work so hard for so many years, which most people choose not to, so that you can live the life that most people can't. And I know I'm butchering that quote, but the point being is that you make these sacrifices, and you're not even thinking of them as sacrifices. You know, you're looking at the 18-hour day. To you just worked an hour. You're building your business, you're grinding, you're doing all this stuff, knowing that there's no guarantee tomorrow. There's no guarantee that you're going to sell those Ninja Stars. There's no guarantee that you can have all the best marketing in the world, and you can have the best presentations in the world and the best web design. There's no guarantee. You're going for your best shot. But to you, it's the best gamble, the best bet you'll ever make, because you're betting on yourself. You're betting on your passion. You're betting on your ability. And in a world of lemonade stands, I think it's very, very important to be the Ninja Star. It's a pretty good talk, huh? The lemonade stand and the Ninja Stars. I'm going to really turn that into something, I think. So I encourage you guys. Yeah, you trade dollars for hours. Yeah, and it's funny, Sean, you mentioned that. I remember when I got started online, trying to build my business. I didn't have deep pockets. I was, again, a high school dropout, and at 24 years old, having your first child. I mean, you can guess the kind of financial state I was in back then. All I could do was exchange hours for dollars. I had to do the grunt work. I had to do the free stuff. I had to be a sponge for a year and soak it up and build the relationships and the networks that have grown into years and years and years of relationships and business relationships to this day. I traded that. And again, I wouldn't replace it. Is there things I wish I could have done better? Yeah, of course. I mean, you always look back and you think you can improve on certain things and decisions you've made, but you can't think like that as an entrepreneur, right? It's never looking backwards. And to me, there's a reason why God put, the eyes in front of our face instead of the back. So we're not looking behind. We're always looking forward. We're always facing forward. We're going forward. We're failing forward, as the very good book by John C. Maxwell, Fail Forward. Definitely you should read that. It's awesome. But yeah, so it's encouraging to me. I hope it is for you guys too, that you don't need, I don't need to tell you that you love what you do, right? You don't need permission from anyone to choose the hustle, to be in just everything. Every ounce of your being is focused on this. You don't need my thumbs up. It's inside you. And I really do encourage you guys to find your Ninja Stars, and don't worry so much about the noise, and don't worry so much about the little voice in your head that's going, oh, you should give up. And don't worry about that. Worry about one day at a time, growing each and every day, developing your passion and turning it into a profit. Because as you can see, even as an 8-year-old kid, I turned popsicle sticks in glue, because in my head, my creative thinking and my imagination, that was a Ninja Star, and I branded it as a Ninja Star, right? Anybody can do this. Again, high school dropout, nothing special. Still learning this stuff, still trying to grow each and every day, still working on my craft, still dealing with the ups and downs just like anybody else is. But the entrepreneurial life is something I would never trade. And I think you guys have caught the bug too, or else you wouldn't continue on with CTP. You wouldn't continue on coming to these shows. You wouldn't continue on trying to build your list and build your brand and build your business, because there's something inside you saying, this is awesome and this is going to be great. So I encourage you guys to keep going. Don't wait for January 1st. Start now. Plan your year. Write it down. Write what you want to accomplish. I don't think it's here, but I put it on my John Olson project on Steam. There's a really cool. Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna try to find it for you guys. I'm gonna share it. John Olson project. It's a little graphic I found, and I stuck it up. There we go. Open image and tab. It's Brian Tracy's. This is. You see it here? Does that work? Let's see. Yes. Okay. Brian Tracy's 7 Steps to Success formula. Decide what you want, write it down, set a deadline, make a list of what you have to do to achieve your goal, prioritize your list and convert it into a plan of action, take action, do something every day that moves you towards your goal. I took this, I stuck it up on my John Olson project account on Steam. And the reason why I did it is because I think this was brilliant, perfect, simple, easy to follow plan. More importantly, this will get printed and laminated. And it is not my New Year's resolution, but I'm going to be working a lot on this going in 2020, because what I really want to do is I want to follow, like what I do, I'll tell you guys what I do at the beginning of each year. I write down 3 things. And what I do is I write down the 3 things I want to accomplish in that year. And this is the big, hairy, audacious goals. These are not the, I want to make, $1 a day or whatever like that. It's like, okay, I want to make 50K a year. I want to make 100K a year. I have these up on my in front of my computer. I have them printed out. I have them written down in my journals. And I have 3 things on the January 1st I want to accomplish at the end of the year. So for example, let's say I want to make $100,000 a year. I want to build my list by 100,000 people. I want to turn CTP into a top 1,000 Alexa ranked program, website. So I have these written down. January 1st is not a New Year's resolution. It's my goals for the year. So every day I'm looking at my goals and I'm working at them. And this is what I'm trying to accomplish in this time frame. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Brian Tracy thing here and decide what I want, write it down, set a deadline. This is all in me on my top 3 things that I'm going to do every year. But then I'm going to work on 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's the key. The first thing you guys got to do is write it down. Write down what you want, set a timeline. This is SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, et cetera, et cetera. So you write these down, you have them in front of you throughout the year, and everything you're doing every day, you use that as a guidepost. You use that as a measuring stick. Is what I'm doing right now getting me to $100,000 a year? Is what I'm doing now building my mailing list up to 100,000 people? Is what I'm doing right now turning CTP into a top 1,000 Alexa ranked website? If my daily actions are not helping these 3 goals, I know I need to reevaluate what I'm doing. I need to go back and I need to focus on what's getting me to these 3 goals. And then what happens is you get to set up your weekly goals, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll go over this. It's law of attraction. And I do believe in it. Now, law of attraction to me is not what everybody else says. Like, I mean, if you watch the movie The Secret, you'll see this part where this person is like thinking of $1 million and then it just magically appears in their hand. The pseudoscientific stuff of law of attraction, I have problems with. Hi Scott, what's going on, man? Merry Christmas, dude. I have problems with that because I think it sets people up for failure. Oh, you didn't get the $1 million. You weren't thinking hard enough. You weren't thinking positively enough. Law of attraction is great when you start acting, right? It should be the law of action. That would be better. The more action you take, the more attractive you become, in my opinion. That to me is how law of attraction works. I believe in law of attraction. Totally do. It's in the Bible. And I'm a man of faith, so I believe whatever God says, in my opinion, that is what it is. So law of attraction makes sense. As a man thinketh, it's in Proverbs. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so he shall be. So that is, to me, it's what am I thinking about? What am I doing? What am I doing every day? Because thoughts lead to action. So what am I doing every day? And I take it back to the top 3 things. Is what I'm doing every day getting me to those 3 goals? Is it? If it's not, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing. But if it is, I think the universe, the pseudoscientific universe will line up and my goals will be reached. But it doesn't happen until I do something, right? Nothing happens unless there's, this is action begets action. You got to do something. So this is why I'm saying I need to work on 4, 5, 6, and 7 on that Brian Tracy link that I just put up. Writing it down is easy. Anybody can take a piece of paper and a pen and write it down. That to me is easy stuff. I can give you guys a little PDF printout, which I'm going to do, by the way, for next week, and say your top 3 goals for the year, write it down, laminate it, print it, whatever. Anybody can do that. The hard part is 4, 5, 6, and 7 is actually doing this stuff, right? Putting it back to our little story time, the Ninja Star stuff. Anybody could have came up with the idea, hey, let's put popsicle sticks and glue them together and start selling them as Ninja Stars. But someone actually had to do it, right? Someone actually had to put the popsicle sticks together, make the designs, glue them together, build them. That was action. So nothing happens in 2020 or anything in your business unless you're doing something. This should be your word of the year. Action would be your word of the year, but you put it to do something, or 3, just do it. Nike had it right. You've really, 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 really got to stop listening and reading and getting all this information in your head unless you're going to do something with it. You've got to do. So this year, I implore you guys, 2020 is the year of action. It is the year of doing this stuff. Print that out, write it down. The link I gave you guys there for Brian Tracy's, does he have a name for it? 7 Steps to Success formula. Work on that this year or the next couple of days until 2020, and then put it in action. Put this game plan into play, and I think you guys are going to have an amazing 2020. Remember, here's the big final tip, my aha moment. The world has enough lemonade stands. A lemonade stand is average. A lemonade stand is basic. A lemonade stand is very vanilla. But how many Ninja Stars are out there, right? Are you a Ninja Star? Is your business going to be a Ninja Star? That's the mentality you got to have. And how do you achieve that? You achieve it by this steps, the 7 steps that Brian Tracy outlawed. But more importantly, it's action. It's action every single day that gets you towards your 3 goals, and everything in your world should be focused on those 3 goals to get to where you're going to be at the end of 2020. So there you go. I'm going to stop the recording, and then we'll have some chit chat. So thank you guys for watching on DTube. I didn't mention crypto too much, YouTube, so please don't ban my account. We'll talk more about that on Crypto Mondays. Anyways, have a great day. I look forward to reading your comments inside of the comment section, and have a fantastic evening. Toodles.